I did not know that lifting a mattress would break my life into two parts, before and after. What I knew was this: my mother screamed my name like she was seeing death, not her daughter. Her voice cut the room and froze my legs. My hands were already under the mattress when she shouted. My heart started beating fast. I thought she was in pain. I thought she had fallen again. I did not know it was fear. That shout was the first time I ever felt scared of my own mother. Now, let me go back. My name is Zainab. I grew up watching my mother sleep on the floor like it was normal. Our room had a bed, a good wooden bed, thick mattress, clean bedsheet, pillow that nobody touched. But every night, my mother spread her thin mat on the floor and slept there. I slept on the bed when I was small. Later, when I grew older, I also slept on the floor with her. The bed became like a visitor that never sat down. When I asked her why, she always said the same thing: "The floor is good for my back," or "heat too much for bed," or "just keep quiet." People talked. Aunties talked. Neighbors talked. They said my mother was doing strong-head. They said she wanted people to pity her. I did not believe them. She was not the type that lacked attention. She was quiet. She did not talk plenty. She did not fight. She carried things inside her like a heavy bag. My father left when I was very small. I do not remember his face well. I only know his name and that he never came back. My mother never talked about him. If I asked, she would just say he went his way. I learned early not to ask again. As she grew older, sleeping on the floor started hurting her. Her knees were always swollen. Sometimes when she tried to stand up, she would hold the wall and breathe like someone climbing a hill. One evening, she slipped and fell. That was when something inside me broke. I told her she must sleep on the bed. I did not beg. I did not shout. I told her like someone who had decided. She tried to argue. I did not allow it. I told her I would not sleep that night if she slept on the floor. She agreed, but her face was tight, like someone going to a place they did not want to enter. We removed the bed sheet. We held the mattress from both sides. That was when she screamed my name. My hands shook. The mattress slipped a little, and I saw it. A folded paper. Old, yellow, flat like it had been pressed by time. My mother dropped to the floor. I picked the paper before thinking. She told me to leave it. That was the day everything she never said started shouting at me.
The paper felt weak in my hand, like it could tear if I breathed on it. It was not clean white paper. It was yellow, old, and warm from staying under the mattress for many years. My mother was on the floor, her back against the wall, her eyes wide open like someone who just woke from a bad dream. She was looking at the letter, not at me. I asked her what it was. She did not answer. I asked again. Still nothing. The room became heavy. The rain outside was beating the roof, but inside the room, everything was quiet and tight. I opened the paper. At the top, there was a date. It was from 20 years ago. I counted it again to be sure. The year was the same year my father left. My chest started to burn. My hands were shaking, but I kept reading. The writing was neat. The words were calm. It did not sound angry. It sounded tired. The letter said he was leaving, not because my mother was bad, not because she cheated. He wrote that he was tired of talking to a wall. He said every time something hurt him, my mother kept quiet. She would not shout. She would not cry. She would not explain. She would just endure. He said he felt alone, even when they were together. I stopped reading. My head was spinning. I did not want to continue, but my eyes moved on their own. He wrote that he still loved her. He wrote that he did not want to go. He wrote that he was waiting for a sign. Then I saw the part that made my throat close. He wrote that if she wanted him to stay, she should remove the mattress and come to meet him before the month ended. He wrote where he would be. He wrote that after that month, he would take her silence as her answer. I looked at my mother. Her eyes were wet, but tears were not falling. Her face was calm in a scary way, like someone who had cried all the tears long ago. She told me to stop reading. She told me to fold it back. She told me to put it where I found it. I asked her why she kept it. She did not answer. I asked her why she never slept on the bed. She closed her eyes. Then she spoke. She said the day she found the letter, she was tired. She was pregnant. She was angry. She said she felt insulted. She said, why should she beg a man to stay? Why should love be like that? She said she read the letter once and folded it. She said she put it under the mattress so she would not see it again. That night, she slept on the floor. At first, it was just for that night. Then one night became two. Two became many. She said sleeping on the floor became her way of answering the letter without speaking. She said she told herself if he wanted to leave, let him leave. Days passed. The month passed. He never came back. She said after some time, sleeping on the floor stopped being pride. It became punishment. Every night on the floor was her way of reminding herself of what she chose. She said she did not want comfort because she believed she did not deserve it. I sat there, holding a letter that waited 20 years for a voice, and I understood that silence can be louder than shouting, and it can destroy more. After my mother finished talking, the room felt smaller. The walls looked like they were moving closer to us. I was still holding the letter, but it felt heavier now, like it was filled with stones instead of words. I wanted to shout. I wanted to ask her why she never told me. I wanted to ask her why she chose suffering when help was so close, but my mouth refused to open. I thought of all the nights I watched her lie on the floor, all the mornings she stood up slowly, holding her waist, pretending she was fine, all the times I heard people talk about her and she kept quiet, all the times I believed my father was a wicked man who just left us for nothing. The story I carried in my head was breaking apart. I asked her if she ever wanted him to come back. My voice was small. She said yes. She said there were nights she prayed for his footsteps, nights she imagined hearing his knock, nights she woke up thinking he was calling her name. But when morning came, she reminded herself that she made a choice. She said silence was her shield. She grew up learning that talking too much brings trouble, that a good woman endures, that explaining yourself is like begging. So when her husband asked for words, she gave him quiet. She did not know quiet could push someone away. I asked her why she kept the letter. She said throwing it away felt like lying. Burning it felt like running. Keeping it under the mattress was her way of facing it every night without reading it. She said the mattress became a cover over her mistake. She said sleeping on the floor helped her remember to carry it. I felt anger arise in me. Not at her alone, but at the years that trained her to suffer quietly. I felt angry at the aunties who praised endurance, angry at the neighbors who called her strong without asking if she was okay, angry at the idea that pain should be worn like a badge. I told her she punished herself for something that already cost her enough. I told her she raised me alone. She worked hard. She did not deserve more pain. My voice broke as I spoke. She looked at me then, properly, for the first time that night. She said she was afraid that if she lay on the bed again, she would forget the lesson, forget the price of pride, forget the man she lost. I told her remembering should not kill her body. She did not answer. That night, she lay on the mattress, stiff like a stranger in a new place. I lay on the floor beside the bed, unable to sleep. I listened to her breathing. It sounded different, lighter but unsure. In the dark, I thought about my own life, about how many times I kept quiet when I was hurt, how many times I swallowed words to keep peace. I saw my future in her past, and it scared me. The letter was on the table. I watched it like it could move on its own. Silence had ruled our house for too long, and I knew it was time for it to end.
The next morning, my mother woke up early and sat on the edge of the bed. She did not lie back down. She just sat there, staring at the floor like she was counting the years she spent on it. I watched her from the doorway. She looked small, not weak, just tired in a deep way that sleep cannot fix. She said her body hurt, not the normal pain she was used to, but a strange pain from sleeping on something soft. She laughed softly, but the laugh did not stay long. It died in her throat. All day the letter stayed between us. It was on the table. We walked around it. We talked about food. We talked about weather. We talked about nothing that mattered. Each time my eyes touched the letter, my chest tightened. In the evening, Nipa took light. The room became dark except for the small lamp. Shadows danced on the wall. That was when my mother started talking again, without me asking. She talked about the early days of her marriage. She talked about how my father was gentle, how he laughed easily, how he liked to talk things through. She said at first she enjoyed listening. She said she believed love was about staying, not talking. She talked about her childhood, about how her own mother never complained, even when life was hard, how silence was praised, how speaking was seen as weakness. She said she carried that lesson into her marriage like a rule. She said when my father wrote the letter, she felt exposed, like someone pulled her cover away. She said the mattress felt heavy that day, like it was pressing her down with all the words she refused to say. She asked me if I thought he would have stayed if she spoke. I told her nobody can be sure, but silence gave him only one answer. She nodded slowly. She said the hardest part was not losing him. The hardest part was living every day knowing she chose not to try. She said sleeping on the floor became her way of staying honest with herself. She said comfort felt like lying. I told her truth does not need pain to survive. She was quiet for a long time. Then she asked me if I ever keep quiet when something hurts me. I wanted to lie. I did not. I told her about friendships I lost because I did not speak, about love I walked away from without explanation, about times I smiled when I was breaking. She listened closely. She did not interrupt. She said she was sorry. That word landed hard in the room. She said she was sorry for teaching me silence without meaning to. She said for making pain look normal. Tears finally fell from her eyes, not loud, not messy, just steady. She asked me what to do with the letter. I told her it already did its job. It waited, it spoke, it showed us where silence leads. She held the paper gently, like it was fragile life. That night, she lay fully on the mattress. I lay on the bed beside her for the first time in years. The room felt different, like something old had finally been named, and once named, it started to lose its power. The last night the letter stayed in our house, rain fell gently. Not the kind that beats the roof in anger, but the kind that sounds like careful footsteps. My mother held the paper in her hands for a long time. She did not read it again. She already knew every word by heart, even the ones she never allowed herself to remember. We went outside together. The compound was quiet. The air smelled like wet sand and old trees.
My mother knelt slowly, her knees complaining, and placed the letter on the ground. I brought a small bowl and matches. My hands were shaking, but my heart was calm. When the fire caught the paper, it did not burn fast. The edges curled first. The writing disappeared little by little. My mother watched without blinking. She did not cry. Her face was soft, like someone finally putting down a load after a long journey. She said, "Some things are not meant to be carried forever. Some memories are lessons, not chains." When the fire died, she stood up with my help. She brushed her hands together and took a deep breath. That night, she walked back into the room without looking at the floor. She slept on the mattress again. This time, she slept. In the morning, she did not rush to stand up. She stretched her legs on the bed and smiled. It was a small smile, but it was real. She said her body still hurt, but her chest felt lighter. Days passed. She did not return to the floor. The mat stayed folded in the corner. Dust started settling on it. People noticed the change before they understood it. She walked slower, but straighter. She laughed more. She spoke more. Not loud, not plenty, but enough. When something hurt her, she said it. When something pleased her, she said it too. I noticed the change in myself as well. I stopped swallowing my words so easily. I learned that speaking does not mean fighting. It means choosing yourself. Sometimes I still think of my father. I wonder where he ended up. I wonder if he waited at that place, checking the days, hoping. I wonder if he found peace somewhere else. Those questions do not burn like before. They sit quietly now. The bed in our room is no longer a symbol. It is just a bed, a place to rest, a place to sleep, a place that does not judge. One evening, my mother told me she forgave herself. She said it did not happen all at once. It came slowly, like morning light. She said silence almost stole her life, but it did not win. That night, as we lay down to sleep, I listened to her breathing. It was deep and steady. The mattress no longer hid secrets, and the floor finally rested.